It's the Royal Podcast.
What is it?
It's the Royal Podcast.
Whoa, what is it?
And all we do is speak Spanish.
Hey,
It's the Royal Podcast.
it's the Royal Podcast. Hey, get into it.
Yeah, you know what we at.
Hey,
Cause it's the Royal
podcast.
Yo, welcome back to the Royal Podcast, where I am one half of your host, S1E1.
And I don't know how many times we have to keep going through this, Chavis. I am the better half. I just want our audience to know that, so we don't have to keep going through this. I am obviously the better half, Amari Lewis.
Whatever you say, Marty, whatever you say. I'm not playing with your games today, man. I'm not playing with them. But anyway, welcome to our first inaugural episode. This podcast is for the teens of America, and whoever else wants to hear this podcast. Because, I mean, we can't control your ears, am I right?
We can't know.
No, our job is to give you a perspective on life that may be similar to yours. And we're just giving it to you from a teenager's perspective, just so you can see life through our eyes. So, how are you today, Amari?
I'm doing well. Had a good day. Even though it's 1 o'clock, I'm up and alive and I'm ready for whatever the day has to throw at me. But I want to know, how was your day?
My day, I mean, I can't complain. It's pretty good Monday, actually. Mondays are usually bad.
Mm-hmm.
Today has been pretty good. No issues here.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, today's topic is communication. So, first off, before we even jump into talking about communication, we just want to make sure everyone knows what communication means, like the definition.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Dr. Google, as I like to refer to
Dr.
Google,
Okay.
Communications is the imparting or exchanging of information or news. So pretty much, a conversation is communication. As you can see, we communicate. We have to. I mean, if we don't, I don't think this works out.
Yeah.
One person just talking, I think
It's pretty weird.
that'd be really weird.
Yeah.
To be honest. So Amari, do you think communication is important?
I think that communication is the base and the root of any relationship that you're in.
Okay.
No matter what type of relationship it is, you always need communication. And if you don't, then I wouldn't say that's a relationship. I'd say that's pretty weird acquaintance that you got there.
Makes
Wouldn't
sense.
say, yeah.
I agree with you 1,000% and some more, because without communication in a relationship, it's not going to work out. Whether it's a friendship, mother-daughter, father-son, whether it's boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever your relationships are. If there's no communication, there is no relationship.
But do you feel as if that communication? I'm trying to figure out how I can put this. Do you feel as if that sometimes that it may have been the downfall of you and any sort of thing that you've had, like a basketball game?
Okay. Actually, yes. Go get real personal here. I don't want to tell my whole life story, but sometimes in relationships, it's okay to be vulnerable and things like that. But on the other hand, you have to be able to trust that other person, And I had a friend, not a girlfriend, a boyfriend, not like that. It was just a regular friendship.
Lonely guy.
Whoa. Lonely man hours. But it was a friendship, and I trusted that friend with some information.
Uh-huh.
And then as time passed along, the information just magically made its way to the atmosphere.
General public.
Yeah, so, I'm not really big on communicating like personal things anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something I'm trying to work on, I pretty much communicate with those, especially about my personal life, who I can trust.
Right. Because you can't trust everybody.
You can't. But it's not to say that you can't give people second chances.
Right.
Even though I didn't give that person a second chance.
Obviously, especially if you trusted them with secret information and it somehow made its way out to the general public.
Yeah, but that don't mean you can't give people second chances. I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah.
I love how I'm contradicting myself. We're not going to talk about that.
We're not.
What about you? Have you had any negative effects of communicating?
Yeah, I've had a couple of, I guess you could say, mishaps or downfalls when it comes to communication. Usually when you're in a relationship, you're supposed to.
Relationship with, could you specify this relationship for the audience, please?
It's a relationship with a female, but that relationship has now been passed.
Okay.
But the relationship, they did not have too much communication at a certain point in time.
Okay.
And I guess you might say that the relationship ended due to not a lot of communication going throughout, and a little bit of lies have been told. But that's not communication if the information is false.
I mean, that's actually a good point. I haven't even thought about that. Like, so pretty much what he just said is, if you lie, but you're talking, like if you lie to me, right?
Nah.
That's communicating, but that's not a good form of communication.
False communication. Right?
Yeah, it's like going. I'm trying to think of an analogy here. That's like saying like, hey, I went to the store, and then I didn't go to the store. So now you thought I went to the store, but I really didn't. So now it's a big argument.
So we were communicating, but information that you relayed to me was not accurate.
Yes,
I can understand.
Have you had any times where communication was just great, or when communication came in your favor?
Yeah, I mean, there were a couple times. Obviously, I'm not a lonely dude like you, Chavis. But
don't hurt me. Don't hurt me.
But yeah, there's a couple of times where communication was at its absolute peak, and it ended well.
Well, I got a perfect example of communication where it went good for me. And I'm pretty sure all of you out there, if you've taken any class or course in a school, especially now during these times, especially during these times with virtual learning and social distancing and all that, you could probably, you probably know what I'm talking about right here.
Yeah.
So, so I had this assignment, right? And it was due at one time. It was due Friday night. Yeah, not this past Friday. I'm just saying, giving you a date.
Lies.
It was due Friday night. I'm just joking on that part. But it was due on Friday night, and I was having issues submitting. And then later on, so after the Friday night, I had issues submitting. So I emailed my teacher. I said, hello, Mr. or Mrs. ... I ain't gonna say your name, of course. I said I was having issues submitting my assignment. I'm like, I don't want to catch that zero because, have you seen the zeros where they put them in there?
Oh yeah,
it's not a good look.
Stab.
It's not a good look. It does not feel good at all. So later on that Monday, because some teachers they don't their office hours are just Monday through Friday and not during the weekend, which is fine with me. So Monday, she emailed me back. I said, it's fine, you can resubmit it. So I was like, woo, because, I was having issues and I can't take no L's.
Right.
I can't take that.
L's are not good.
They're not. So who are some people so obviously that's a case where my teacher, she trusted me, which is very wild. I'm a very trustable young man, But, don't do that. Don't.
Lies. Lies.
You my business? Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yo, get him out of here.
Don't do that.
Get him out of here. Get him out of here.
But anyway, like I was saying before I was really interrupted by somebody being in my business.
Yikes.
So my teacher, she trusted me. I mean, or he, I ain't giving no names out here. But the teacher trusted me in the situation. And with that trust, now they know that, okay, if something happens in the future, I will not be penalized for it, if that makes sense, because they know they can trust me. And sometimes with communicating, you may trust certain people more than other people, so you may communicate more with them. So with that being said, who are some people or a person, if you want to help them out or not, that you communicate with, like, classified? Oh, well,
let me stop. But you said, go ahead, but
yeah, so like, who is a person or people that you communicate with well, or you do, like, consistently? Consistently. We're gonna talk about that.
This mask is, kind of prohibiting my vehicular cords from moving in the correct absence in the correct way. But some people that I communicate well with are definitely my friends. Shout out to Jaden Waters. I communicate with that guy a lot. Me and him are literally talking to each other nonstop all the time, only because we are on the video game together. But any other time, we'll be texting each other. Cool. How you doing? How your day been going? You're good because that's how friends
I just
communicate.
say you're a great friend.
Right.
I do not text none of my friends those words.
Yeah,
How you doing, man? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, but it's pretty good between me and him. Yeah, I want to say he's probably about one of the people that I have the best communication with, besides this guy here, Chavis. But you interrupted me
I didn't interrupt you.
by fulfilling your own ego. Don't do that. But what's the name? Yeah, Chavis and Jaden Waters. Shout out to both of them. Are definitely the most people that I communicate in my life right now because I'm always around them. Always around Chavis because I'm at school. Always around Waters because I'm always on the game. And they're just good friends. They're just good friends I have. They always, when you're down, they always check up on you. And it's good to have friends like that in your corner. But there are some relationships that when you don't have good communication with.
We'll speak on that. You don't have to, like I said, you do not have to say the people. Okay, let's keep this. But or you can give like a time, where this communication wasn't made, or a person that you don't communicate with as much.
Right.
Actually, you don't have to say the name. Do you have those experiences?
Yes.
No? Okay.
And one person, I'm not going to say their names, but they don't go here anymore. Okay. But we were friends, and obviously, when you leave the school, it gets harder to communicate because you're not seeing each other as much as you would. And he or she was a friend.
I think it was a he.
Not a committed relationship, but he or she was a friend, and they left, and that communication was not as strong as it could have been due to them leaving. And when it comes down to that, and you really want to become friends more and more, you need communication, and the communication just wasn't there. So after that, that was about it. That friendship came to an end sooner or later. Well, not to come to an end. It never formally ended things between us, but that was about it. That communication wasn't there, and it shouldn't have been.
Well, I mean, I agree with you on the whole communicating with friends more, because I feel like out of all the people in my life, those who are closest to me in age can just relate better. So I can't complain about my parents to my parents. That's just not how that works.
Yeah, that's not. It's weird.
That's kind of like the friend's job. So I'm with you on that one. But as far as people that I kind of don't communicate with as much, it's kind of the same as you. There's certain people whose relationships just died off due to them leaving. And, and also sometimes it could be family members, like my parents. I mean, it's not that I don't want to. It's just that sometimes that's a little weird at times,
So have you had any relationships where your communication was at its best, at its peak, and where it was at its lowest?
I've had, half of my relationships, pretty much. Half of them were like that, and half of them were not. And I mean, sometimes communication is a two-way road. Let's get that out there too. It's a two-way street. You can't communicate and the other person doesn't. That's not how communication works.
Yeah, that's
because you have to have some form of exchange of information. So that's kind of what I've been through. But in conclusion of our first inaugural episode, there's gonna be plenty more. But in conclusion,
a lot more.
But in conclusion, communication is a very important skill that you need to pretty much to have a relationship, and you have to communicate to pretty much everything in life involves communication. Some things can be virtual, like texting and emailing, but
that's how those youngins do it these days on their
the TikTok and
the TikToks, and they be doing
Snapchat,
and the instant ham. Yeah, instant ham. Instant graham cracker, I think it is. No, graham. Instagram. That's what it is. That's what they be doing.
And then the tweet bird. The tweet bird.
Yeah, the little tweet things.
Tweet.
You do it on your cell phones and
iPhone, Apple, all of it.
Yeah, the pair phones, whatever your youngins calls it. And
you know what it is.
Yeah, and the TikTokers and the Instahams and ends.
But yeah, so anyway, thank you all for listening or watching. I don't know if this is going to be released video wise yet, but thank you for tuning in anyway. You can catch this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, and pretty much wherever you can see a podcast, we're going to be there. So with that being said, all my kings and queens out there, stay loyal, and we'll be back with another one.